Hey, dear ones, welcome back. It's Mimi. I know it's been a minute, but like I say, like most of you out there, it's just maddening. Just when you think you can breathe, something else comes up, but such is life. Um, I told y'all how ginormous Tyrus was when he was born, and I found a picture in, you'll ignore the hair. Something I learned later on. I haven't permed my hair since I can remember, but don't ever perm your hair while you're pregnant. It won't turn out well, as you can see. But I just want y'all to focus on the child. He is literally just a couple hours old, and you can see what a ham bone he is and how much hair. He was huge, but again, he was just over 4 weeks late. I thank God he lived, because he almost didn't. But I'm going to try to show that to y'all, and hopefully you can see. Look how big that kid is. That's not like a little tiny baby, but I do look like a baby with a baby, huh? But that's the ham bone. Brandy was my littlest at 7 something. I think she was 7'3" or 7'6". So I got to snuggle her like a normal child. There's me after I lost all my weight, being guilted by my ex-father-in-law. Again, a baby with a baby. No regrets. No regrets. I believe we left off last time. Hold on, there's something on the camera that's bothering me. There you go. Sorry. Where I was planning a very impromptu, quick wedding. Jerry did help me a lot. She helped get the food together. I got a small cake. I was a cake maker for many years, and cookies and all that stuff. Made a lot of wedding cakes. Oh my goodness. But I wasn't up to doing this. I was in a hurry. We had to get things done, so I had it made for us. It was, let me see. You'll see it in a picture in just a little bit. It's not a good picture. I haven't had time to go through pictures, but you'll at least get to see. Anyway, and I got a dress from Loren that she had wore to one of her weddings, and I made the train for it, and it was just really quick, pretty simple. Roy said, I will not be there. I was very, very glad that he said that, and no, he did not show up because of how stupid I was. I can still make really stupid decisions and choices, but I'm not stupid, or nor am I dumb. I can make some dumb choices, stupid choices and decisions. But he refused to, like he was invited, but he refused to show up, thinking it was going to change my mind, I guess. I don't know. That he had some type of control over it, to where I was like, oh, well, he's not coming, so I'm not doing this. No way, Jose. As I said last time, wild horses weren't going to keep me away. Oh, and I had the cutest picture of Tyrus and Brandy and my only niece on that side. I have to find it. They were so cute. I remember the colors were peach and something, because the girls had the cutest peach little dresses. I'll have to find that picture. So I only got to see Matthew a couple of times before the wedding, because he was in Colorado Springs. I was up on a mountain, a couple-hour drive, and it was winter. But the day drew nearer. Oh my goodness, I was so excited, but still scared. I felt like I knew him all my life, but I knew this was going to be another. They're not any of them easy to make, these videos, but this one I knew was going to be on the tough side, because of some things that I'm going to share with y'all. And some of you, come on, wind, hold hold on, let me grab the picture. Some of you men and women out there may understand. I can only tell you from my experience in being a female. I can tell you just from my experience. And y'all have known from the very beginning that I absolutely, positively hated sex. It was disgusting, horrible. And I began to think, after we got married, I'm thinking a lot of stuff. How's this going to differ? It can't possibly be different. I spent too much time thinking about it. So February the 3rd, I got there. It was a sweet, small ceremony. The people that were there were good people. Some of them were exceptional that just loved me for who I was. By then I had gained another quote unquote mom. We'll call her Mom V. I probably knew her. I don't even know if I knew her and her family for a year. She started working at the bar. She originated from Texas and just an amazing, amazing woman. She endured a lot in her life too, haven't we all? But like I said, I know there's a bunch of you men out there. You just feel you don't have nowhere to go or anybody to talk to, but you've been through hell too, or you're going through it right now. So this is for you too, dear ones. I love you guys out there, and I'm rooting for you because I know that you're out there, and I know you're hurting just like us women. I know you are. And I'm praying for y'all. Men, women, children, I'm praying for you all. And I'll keep praying for you. But so as time, let me get rid of this phone call. As time went on and we drew closer, February 3rd got there, and I didn't sleep probably for a couple of days, but off and on, getting things ready, and just the excitement of it, So we got married, and a bunch of us were gonna go. I don't even remember who was supposed to take Tiresome Brandy. I don't remember, but we stayed there at the bar for a little while, and everybody was celebrating. It was early afternoon, I think, and somebody was going to watch Tiresome Brandy. I don't really remember who, but all of the rest of us were just going to go bar hop in town and just go party, just drink and just whoop it up, because I just got married to the love of my life. I was in love with my prince, my knight in shining armor, and we were going to go celebrate. And because we were who we were then, we were going to go out and get drunk and just have a great time. So we thought. And we were loading into the car, and Tyrus bent down to give me a kiss, and somehow he stuck his hand. It was a 4-door. He stuck his hand where, when you open a door, there's that space right there. He put his hand in there to where he didn't fall into the car, to give me a kiss before we left, and somebody shut the door on his hand. And the screams, oh my gosh, the screams. So someone obviously opened the door really, really quickly. I could tell it was broke. Matthew could tell it was broke. So everybody, being who they are, they're like, okay, well, we're just going to go ahead of y'all and party for you. And that's what happened. We went to the little small emergency room there. But praise God, it was a good doctor. And it was Matthew, Tyrus, Brandy, and I. Me in my wedding gown, him in his beautiful dress greens. And we stayed for hours and hours at that emergency room while they tried to work on Tyrus's hand. They were concerned about the growth plate because of his age, etc. Casted him up, and we went back to the apartment, and the 4 of us went to sleep. We were exhausted. So Matthew and I has never had a honeymoon in 34 years. We had our first impromptu real date weekend last month. I don't remember. That's so sad. The time just runs together. But like literally recently, our first impromptu, unplanned, well, I had it planned and surprised him. And we went out of town, and thanks to our son Michael for watching Braxton in Georgia, we got to have our first for real date weekend from Friday till Saturday evening, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, with that being said, I forgot to tell y'all about who married us. Remember, we weren't in Christ. So Jerry said, I know who can marry you. And I said, who? And she said, the Rev is what everybody called him. Long hair, pot smoking, Pabst Blue Ribbon drinking Reverend. So he called himself, and he was ordained. So give him a few bucks and it was done. And to this day, I think back and I was like, wow, we really need to do things over. But God was there. And I know that he ordained it, but that's who married us. And I've always wanted to redo our vows, especially since we became Christians. I really, really wanted to do that. Maybe someday still. I don't know. Either way, 34 years, and I'm still head over heels in love. Has it been a cakewalk? No. So we started our lives with the broken hand on Ty, and we didn't have hangovers. We weren't drunk. We woke up the next morning, and I think he cooked breakfast. I don't remember, but we're married. We are now married, and I'll show you a picture real quick. Let me see. Let me see if I can. He's so handsome. I had the whatchamacallit draped over me, the train, because it was very, very long, because that's what I wanted, and that's what I made for myself to attach to the dress. It snapped on and off, but I didn't want to take it off. But there we were, 34 years ago. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Time. So, the intimacy part. I'm going to try to get through this as best I know how. I'm going to try to describe it how my heart, the only way I know how. I was an actress in the beginning. No, I wasn't a fan. I was an actress. But because I was in love with this man, oh, this is going to be tough. I was in love with this man, head over heels in love with him. And he, I know, was nothing but Jesus, and people are going to take this maybe one way. Maybe they'll understand exactly what my heart's trying to speak. But he knew, and I have to believe because he was in love with me, he knew something was off. Really, really, really off. He had me all figured out. And I can't remember 34 years ago, the pivotal point in time that the sex became intimacy, became passion. Things I never knew of, things I've never experienced. I think I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. There's worldly sex, and we were in the world at the time. And then there's sex in a marriage covenant by God, ordained by God. And not a a little more than half, well, a little more than half of our marriage, we've been Christians. But before even becoming Christians, I don't know but God how he knew how broken, how severely broken I was emotionally, mentally, physically. He was so in tune with me, especially physically, that it's tough to say, because I want to always be transparent and speak the truth in love, especially to always speak the truth in love. But there's some things that are very difficult to explain, but I know there's those of you out there that knows exactly what I'm trying to say. But he knew, and I have to believe it was nothing but Jesus, he knew how wounded I was. And I can't tell y'all like the particulars of how or what exactly happened, that he was so loving, so patient, so kind, and he thought about me, that he made sure that all of my needs, that's the only way I know how to put it, were met. And I cannot tell you what my physical body and my mind experienced. I can't even put it into words, except just pure passion and even beauty, to the point where wherever we went during that point in time, those points in time, I didn't want to come back from, because it was so beautiful. And then, like I said, the passion was just, it was beautiful. And I never dreamt in a million years I would ever know what being in love was, period, ever. That was nowhere ever on my radar. But to actually to be able to stop acting and faking and just thinking it's all about the male and it's just the way it is, and just have to continue to be grossed out and disgusted and hate to be touched, and being such an actress that they would think, oh my gosh, she's just having an amazing time here, when I was revolted. But he took all of that brokenness, every single shard of glass that I felt constantly cutting me during that time of now intimacy. God allowed him and used him to make something so beautiful out of all of those broken pieces that to this day I can't even articulate it, or y'all probably wouldn't believe me. But I gotta believe there's people out there, men and women, that know exactly what I'm saying, and that you too got blessed with somebody that could understand, again, by the grace of God, and what you went through, that made it all about you instead of just about them. And he was just amazing, the perfect gentleman in every way, excuse me, and even in the bedroom. Perfect gentleman. And just, I never dreamt that I would live to know that type of passion. And it's beautiful and amazing, but also it makes me sad. I know 2 women that are way up in age now that have literally told me during some just personal time and talks and visits that they prayed that they lived to have passion. We didn't talk about it. This was just something that was heavy on their heart, that they said that they prayed that they lived to know and experience true passion. Excuse me. And to know that I have that, it breaks my heart for those that don't. And it took me so many years. That's why I always say, don't give up, don't give out, never quit, never surrender. Your blessing truly could be right around the corner. Sometimes it's around the mountain, but it's so worth the trip, y'all. It's so worth the trip. But we have to be in the will of God. I was ready to give up. Remember, I told y'all I was ready to give up and go backwards. Go backwards. And that amazing, merciful, awesome God that I served redirected me, rerouted me, and brought my beloved husband into my life. And I know I've probably messed up a lot on the videos. I told you I don't know how to edit. I do good to get on and do them because they're not easy, but it's something I'm supposed to have done for 3 years. And I'm really thankful that I started, but it doesn't get any easier. If this is all I had to do, I'd probably find it easier, maybe not the topics or the conversation, but I wouldn't look so tired and stuff. But we got a lot going on like everybody else in our lives, and some days I'm like, I gotta get that video out. I gotta get that video made because it means that much to me. It means so much to be able to help someone, anyone. And I so thank God for those that have touched base and been encouraging and loving. So we are living our lives. He's still in Colorado Springs. I'm still on the mountain. We're waiting for to save the money, because I think back then of how little money there was and how we still made it. And nowadays we barely do sometimes, but like most folks, but I just don't know how people make it nowadays. Honestly, I don't. Things are so crazy and expensive. So we had to wait there was no housing available on post. There's always a long waiting list, especially the bigger the post, it's a long waiting list. So we got a first apartment in Colorado Springs, and Tyrus decided he wanted to go to Texas and stay with Brad for a little while. And I was like, that's fine. Godspeed. That's the second helicopter today that has gone to the hospital. I know all about those helicopters, and one day you guys will too, on a video, every time I hear them. But anyway, we moved it was an okay apartment in Colorado Springs until we were waiting for housing to open up on post. And it was just Brandy and I and Matthew. And I had messed up and said earlier in a video that I had my tubes untied after Brandy. I think I've corrected myself, but I'll do it again because bear with me. I just don't remember. I just try to press on and keep going forward, that I had them tied. I told the surgeon, I said, cut them, burn them, make it permanent, take it all out. Give me hysterectomy, I don't care, because I don't want no more children. After what I went through, I didn't want any more. But whatever he did to my tubes, he didn't, yank everything out, and I was very thankful. But I knew as soon as I married Matthew that I couldn't imagine life without children with him, more children. He always wanted more, and he was thrilled to have Tyrus and Brandy. We were already talking about adoption for Tyrus and Brandy. He was very upset that I had my tubes tied, and the probability of me not having any more children was really upsetting to him. It was super upsetting to me. But again, I didn't see for so long how God walked us through every single thing. And I just saw it again. I heard a pastor, Jonathan Cahn, Rabbi Pastor Jonathan Cahn, say that if one moment in time in your life changed, it would throw everything else out of whack. And I believe that with all my heart. And but God knew when I said I was done having kids. He knew what was coming down the road. So we started, I started going to a doctor once I got everything going with the military insurance, etc. And there was some really good ones in Colorado Springs. And I had to have I think it's called an endoscope, so they could see if they'd even do it, if it was possible. And so he said that he would try, I think it's an OB, that he would try to untie them and reconnect them, but my tubes, instead of being like a big straw from, say, like Burger King, they were more like a stir stick for coffee. And to this day, I know it was nothing but Jesus, because I'm thinking, why did he even undo them if he thought there was only like a 20% chance I could get pregnant? But he did. He untied them. That was in the end of August of 90, first part of September. And in October, I was pregnant. Again, I want to be totally and completely transparent with y'all. There were times early in my marriage that sometimes when you're so hurt and you're so wounded and I never heard of PTSD until my husband. I never heard of it. It wasn't something that was told, that maybe that's what I went through growing up or victims go through, or I never heard of PTSD. It was just suck it up, buttercup, and move forward. But I don't even know where I was going with that one. But I want total transparency here, and I want y'all to know that even though I have this whirlwind, amazing, epic romance, now marriage, that's where I was going. When things get in my experience, when things were going so well, too good to be true, I would do things to sabotage it. Because if there was no fighting, no yelling, no cussing, no screaming, nothing breaking, I didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't know quiet, peaceful, joy, love, passion. I didn't know any of that. So I would do things to sabotage it. He came into the marriage, obviously, with baggage that I didn't know about, because it was a whirlwind, less than a month. Met, married. There you go. So we were just literally learning as we went. So he got called for one of those 4-day things that they do at Fort Carson. They go up into the mountains somewhere and they play Army, they play war. I don't know where that helicopter is, but I pray for him. And he somehow, one of his bosses let him sneak back to the apartment, because we hadn't long been married at all. And so he kind of startled me, and I answered the door because I was like, it can't be. So who could this be? I was kind of unnerved. And it was just Brandy and I there. And it was him, and I was so excited to see him, and that he surprised us. And he no more got in the door, and he looked at me, and he just turned angry. And I was so surprised, and I said, what is it? And he said, where did you get that? Where did I get what? And he had left a hickey on my neck. Back in the day, the hickeys were the thing, and they were everywhere, all over folks. And I would never now, and haven't for years and years and years and years, but he left a big old hickey on my neck. And I thought he was joking at first, but I could tell by the look on his face he wasn't joking. And I think I've told y'all before, I don't have a jealous nature. Unless you give me a reason to be jealous, I ain't got time for it. I just don't. But I was taken aback, and I thought to myself, okay, here we go. Here comes my world falling apart. I knew it was too good to be true. I knew. But I didn't take into consideration his side of it either, and his baggage. It was always about me. And he had ex-wives. I'm his fourth. Yes, I am. And he's my third. Y'all know about mine. But what I didn't tell you is he was married to the person he went to high school with. And they had a daughter. And from what I understand, this is secondhand. I don't know. It's something he doesn't really talk about. When they separated, apparently the marriage didn't last long. He pretty much did it to get out of the house, and I think she did it too. Again, that's just what I believe. But in the process, she became pregnant. I think she was pregnant when they separated, and she didn't know, but she went on to have a baby girl. So she's the oldest. She lives in Oregon. And but that was wife number one. Wife number two, I met briefly. I don't know. They didn't stay married long. Praise God, no kids. Wife number three, I knew he had to be really, really drunk because I met her. And I thought, wow, I'm bad, but wow. Okay, I'm just going to be transparent. All he saw was her chest. That's all she was. It's just a chest. So yes, they weren't married long at all. So yes, he's been married 3 times prior to me. So there's a lot of baggage there. And there's so much that I didn't know about him until after we got married. But that's not the man that I knew. All of these stories that family members and people that knew him were telling me about him, it broke my heart to hear, because I never knew that man. I just couldn't fathom the things that he did prior to us getting married. And I'm trying to watch the time and chickens and the helicopter. A lot of distractions today, but I'm going to press on. So anyway, he went off and was demanding an answer about the hickey. And I said a lot of really bad words because I wasn't in Christ. I cussed really, really bad. I said, "You're so stupid. You gave that to me. What is your problem?" So that was our first falling out. And I don't know if he just started thinking about it, but he had reason to be afraid and suspect. He was like me. It was too good to be true. So he was waiting and watching and creating drama that neither one of us should have, because we didn't know any better. He was sure I was going to cheat on him. He was sure. But even though the very first night we met and I told you we talked about everything, I looked him in his face and I told him, this is a guarantee. If I ever feel like I don't love you anymore, or I want to have an affair, that's not my nature, but I'm just throwing this out there. I can guarantee you this right now. I will come to you before and I will tell you I'm done and I'm fixed to go elsewhere. But I will never, ever, ever have an affair on you. I won't. That's not who I am, because it's been done to me too many times, and I can assure you that right now. So I reminded him of that. I said, I flat told you I would never do anything. I am not those women. And then I've had to learn that he is not the ex-husbands that I was married to, or the men I was with after. His name is Matthew, and my name is Tammy, and we have had to navigate over the years of who we are and who we are together. So we got over that first bump, and transparency, I was thinking, I know what my heart feels. I know what my body feels. I know what my mind feels. But did I make a big mistake? I mean, once he went back for the finish out his couple of days, was just Georgia. She looks just like Brandy, so they could be. She definitely could be her mama. But I always called one the other, and the other one the other one. But it was just Brandy and I waiting for Tyler to decide he wanted to come back. But we didn't have any furniture. I don't even remember what. We had a bed. Brandy had a twin bed, but we didn't have any front room furniture, and her and I would just lay on the floor because there was nothing else to do. I didn't know nobody, and I didn't go anywhere and had no need to go anywhere. And I think at that time he had the vehicle to go back and forth, so he had to have it on post for when he come back after those 4 days. But I think that's the gist of this one, because there's a lot of setting up. There's a lot of really dumb choices and decisions that we both made out of coming in with a whole lot of baggage, both of us. We knew a lot about each other, but it's a whole lot different talking about it. Everybody wants to make noise today. I wanted to get it done a little early. We got chickens, chainsaws, helicopters, kids. But I'm doing it. I'm doing it, y'all. A whole lot of baggage coming in on both sides. We're both overwhelmed. He has a daughter that he's never really got to be a part of her life. Now he's a daddy and has a son and a daughter that we're talking about adopting. I'm about to undergo a surgery to get my tubes untied to see if it's going to see if it's going to work. And it's all moving so quickly. Again, married February 3rd. First big fight that spring. Now we're talking about, I did the endoscope and the surgeon said he'd go ahead and try. So it was the very end of August, first part of September. It might have even been on Brandy's birthday. Her birthday, September 3rd. I know it was extremely close to her birthday, if not on it. That I had to go to Denver from Colorado Springs to the big military hospital, big Army hospital, Veterans Hospital. I don't know what it was. University of Colorado. I don't remember. I just know I went there and I had to have major surgery, hip to hip, like a cesarean, to get the tubes untied to see if it would work. And this poor old body. So I think that's what, third surgery, fourth with the endoscope that we're rocking on. I need to write all this down. I'm going to try to find some more pictures. I'm going to try to pick up with what happens after surgery. We're in about, like I said, early September of 1990, and we're just trying to navigate a wild situation. But so very blessed. Oh my goodness, so very blessed. But I always want to end with, if there's anybody out there thinking about doing something permanent for a temporary situation, please don't do it. You are so loved. You are so priceless. You are valuable. Don't listen to the enemy. He's a liar and the father of all lies. He's come to steal, kill, and destroy, seeking whom he can devour. Don't let him. Call somebody. Go somewhere. Call 911. There's no time for shame. Reach out and get help, because you are worth it. For any of y'all that are out there that are struggling emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, I will be praying for you. I know there's so much prayer needed out there, so much death, so much sickness, so much financial, so much, just so much pain and fear. And fear is a liar. Ooh, Satan, that's what he operates the best at, is fear. And he's got people so terrified about this year, what's coming. I told you I'm going to try to keep politics out of it, but people are afraid about what's going on with the elections. Don't fear, y'all, because God is the author of the story. He knows every nanosecond of every single day. I frustrate and get mad at my own self when I get concerned and worried, because I have literally witnessed miracle signs and wonders with my own eyes and heard them with my own ears. And you're going to know all about them, and you're going to say, wow. Again, this is just the tip of the iceberg. It's going to be quite a ride, y'all. But God, I love each and every one of you more than you will ever know. I may never know you, but I love you. And again, people say, how can she say that? How can she say she loves me when she may never ever meet me or know me? Because I'm a child of God. And because He loves you desperately, so do I. And I'm required by His word to love you. The word of God says, above all things, love, and to pray without ceasing. So that's what I try to do. But until next time, y'all, I love you. I adore you. I appreciate you. If you ever need me, borntojesus@hotmail.com. And you are safe with me. I take it before the throne, and then I have to let it go. But you're not alone. I'm here, and I love to pray because prayer changes things. So don't be afraid to reach out to me. And I'm transparent with my husband. I have nothing to hide. Nothing. But again, I love you, and Lord says the same. I will be back a whole lot sooner than this last span of time, but I gotta just be led, and whatever happens, happens. But y'all have a blessed rest of your week, and I pray sweet sleep for you tonight. And I love you, and I'll see you on the next one.